Hey guys, we're Blister Soul. Welcome to our video session. This is our Zoom meeting, and maybe someday you can be on it as well with us. So let us know what you think. All right, I'm gonna try it again. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. This is our Zoom meeting with Blister Soul, talking music, what we're doing in quarantine, and food. So enjoy your time. Hello all, welcome. We are Blister Soul.
The interview nobody asked for.
Okay,
But
Brian,
you're gonna get anyways.
I've got the take ready.
All right.
And go.
We're Blister Soul.
Perfect.
Diabetes. Fight it.
Vote for Dave Brimley.
All right. That take was really good. I think we'll be getting it better in just one more take, and then we'll do another take after that, another take after that, and 50 more takes after that, and we'll have it.
No.
I'm going to end this meeting.
Brian's just sitting there yelling at his screen for an hour.
Yeah,
All right.
it'll be 11 o'clock and Brian will still be doing takes. Yeah, during quarantine, life has pretty much been the same. Go to work, come home. Of course, nothing really after that. Basically just at home or running the random errand, trying to write some stuff and working on some mandolin stuff. So
Yeah, it's basically been pretty similar for me. Like working a lot. I'm a pharmacist, so I work at Walmart, and so I'm going there, doing that, and that's going good. Me and my wife planted a garden for the first time, so that'd be a new thing. And I am playing Overwatch, the video game now.
Nice.
So I have lots of time. So I'm on vacation right now, actually. So we're trying to do one fun thing, one productive thing, and one relaxing thing a day. So
nice.
it's been good.
Good plan.
Yeah, my life hasn't really changed very much. I work remotely part-time anyway, so now I'm just working remotely all the time. And so far I've done a couple async recordings with Greg's videos and mostly just messing around with stuff at home with, music wise. Yeah, not too much different other than not leaving the house when I get done working. So.
Yeah.
For me, it's about the same, except for this week, I worked remotely for the first time the whole week, and then next week I'll go back to work in the office. But today I started working on installing 30 feet worth of chain link fence to contain our chickens.
Nice.
In the garden.
Yep.
Nice.
So, pro tip, if you've got chickens and a garden, you've only got chickens.
Yeah. I think I remember seeing a product called chicken wire, right? That's an actual legit thing that they make, I think.
Yeah.
Some
but
chickens
gardens
are wily.
grow into that chicken wire, and it's a mess.
Yeah.
Well, unless you're better at it than I am.
42.
I don't know how else to answer that.
That is the answer.
It is the answer.
We'll move on. That escalated very quickly. But I mean, what do you do?
Well, Jennifer, that depends on if you're a Republican or a Democrat. Just kidding.
Oh
That's
boy.
not going in the blooper reel either. That's staying.
Well, my amp is a Fender Princeton, and I'm trying to remember what I've got on my pedal board.
It's probably been a while since you've seen it.
Yeah, it has been. My stuff lives at Brian's house, so
Yeah, I mean, we could do a little show and tell if we want.
yeah.
That's true. Brian has access.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's see. I've got a Boss overdrive.
Blues Driver, right?
Yeah, Blues Driver. And then I've got a Rat clone distortion. What is my other overdrive?
OCD.
OCD, yeah. And then I've got a Boss. I think it's a DD5 delay. I've had that one for a long time. Yeah, there's my board. So we got the reverb pedal there, and then another analog delay there. And I'm forgetting all the names of the pedals. I'm really bad at this. Then I've got a Donner chorus pedal there, and a little booster, and then a good old wah for that I almost never use, but it's fun to mess around with occasionally.
It is.
Boss tuner, the standard.
Yeah.
So for those of you keeping track at home, that's a digital delay DD5, a OCD full tone, the Blues Driver BD2, the carbon copy analog delay by MXR, the F5-5U Boss, the Hall of Fame 2, the pickup booster by Seymour Duncan, and the Donner.
Donner.
Donner chorus.
Yep.
Cool.
That's my lineup.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan, thank you for the question. I have a Sans amp, and I have a TC Electric bass booster. That's it.
Tony, you want to talk about your amps and your
What kind
effects?
of amp and rig do you have, Brian?
So I have a Mesa Boogie Big Block 750 amp with, and I just got an Aguilar 410 cab. And that Aguilar sounds really, really good. I'm really happy with it. The Mesa I've had for a long time, and it's done me really well, but I will be looking to upgrade it to an Aguilar here in the future. So that stimulus check, if that could come, that'd be great.
All right, so me, I guess.
Nobody's
Tony
asking
wants to
what
talk
kind of
about
pedals I've got.
What's
All
your
right,
kick
I've
drum
got
pedal, Tony?
It's a DW 5000.
There you go.
Boom. I've got I think it's like a 68 or 67 Epiphone pacemaker combo. Little 10-inch combo, just like Jason's Princeton.
Mine's
Then
not
I've got an
vintage,
old.
though.
Huh?
Mine's not vintage, though.
Well, no, but 10-inch speaker, and then I've still got my old Fender head and cab as well. Those are pretty much around the same era. Effects, which it's funny that Ryan is asking this. The rat on my board is from Ryan Holstead. I traded him
That's
straight
why
up
he's
for an
asking.
original, for an NES.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's see. What else do I have on there? I have a reverb pedal. What is it? Nuniber, I think. A couple of delays. I've got a Moleco analog delay, a Digitech digital delay, even though it's more analog modeled. Voodoo Lab tremolo. We've got a clone of, what is it, Red Llama, I think, by Way Huge. The Rat I already said. And then I've got an RC Booster version 2 by Exotic. Boss Tuner, standard. So
That RC booster is really good. And I think I misspoke
Yes.
earlier. I think I have an RC booster, but it's bass specific.
is that actually, did I get everything? I don't have the tremolo on my board right now, but
I don't know.
I think I got everything. Oh, and an Emerson M drive. Yeah, that's my always on pedal. So there you go.
all of those things, and some, like I don't really have much brand loyalty. I don't think I tend to like Fender amps, so I think my last 3 amps have been Fender. Well, no, I have a Vox amp too, but I tend to like Fender amps, and so most of my actually good amps have been Fender amps. And then other than that, when it comes to guitars, when it comes to pedals, it's pretty much something that sounds good, that I like what it sounds like. If I can hear it and get a sound I like out of it, then that's really what it matters. I mean, if you look at my board there, it had, I guess probably the most I've got is a couple Boss pedals, but I've had some of those for ages. Like, I think I've had that Blues Driver for 15 plus years. So it's, if I like a pedal, I'll get it. Guitars are kind of the same way. I got my Tele that I like Teles, and so I've got a Telecaster. I like the way it looked. I like the way it sounded. I like the way it played. That's why I got it. I've always liked the 335 style. So, being a cheapskate, I have an Epiphone Dot and not a overpriced Gibson. I have, those are my main stage guitars. I have a handful of others that, for various things. So, if I like it, if I play it and I like it, I like the way it sounds, all that, then I'll buy it. It doesn't matter to me, brand or price or any of that. So, I mean, price matters. I'm not going to pay $10,000 for a crappy guitar, but
Yeah. So basically, I think it's mostly just if you like it or not. Like, I wouldn't get too caught up in, like, if it's someone else's says you have to have this type of bass or that type of bass or guitar or whatever. But mostly it's like, if you enjoy playing it, you like it, it feels good to you, it sounds good to you, go for it. So I have a Fender's 70s reissue jazz bass, and I like it. I think I will try I played Greg's P bass a few times, and I really liked that. So I think I might give me a P bass someday, because I enjoyed that. So that's a little more, it's just got that good old P bass, punchy, warm sound. So yeah, yep. So
yeah, brand loyalty doesn't matter to me at all. It's just whatever catches my eye. Which is how I've basically gotten all my guitars. It's like, ooh, I like the way that looks. And then I'll play it and it's worked out.
I will say that, but I really like Fender for basses. It's like kind of the standard for me.
Yeah.
Like, I've only really ever played Fenders, so I kind of only ever think to get Fenders. Although I know there's some pretty good other brands out there. Like, I want to try a Sire bass, and see how that is. And heard it's a good brand. I've not been able to play one myself. So,
what was it again? What brand?
A Sire bass.
I think.
SIRE.
Okay.
They're kind of like Fender style basses. They're a little bit more cost effective, or a little cheaper. They sound pretty good from what I hear. Scott, the guy Scott from Scott's Bass Lessons, he's big on them. And I think the local music store is going to get some in to try out at some point. So
cool.
I think I tend to like just classic style guitars. So your Teles, your Strats. Greg's not a fan of Strats, but I like them. Your Les Pauls, your SGs, 335 styles. Those are kind of all of my favorite looking guitars. Some jazz hollow body styles. I'm not usually a big fan of more, modern-ish looking stuff, angular and whatnot. Also like the offsets, Jazz Masters, that kind of stuff. Don't have one, but
eventually.
Eventually.
You're like fried shrimp, your shrimp scampi, your shrimp gumbo. Just anyway, huh?
Yeah,
all those classic styles.
Yeah. It's not that I hate Strats. I really like the sound of them. And I know I've got a Strat that I'm going to probably modify and try to use. It's been a long time since I played one. I just never really felt comfortable playing one. So.
What about drums?
I say that I don't have brand loyalty, and then I end up having brand loyalty.
Yeah. I tried to order an Evans head, and he's like, "No, I just do Remo, just because I always have."
Well, no, that's not true. I have tried Evans heads, and Evans has really good tom heads that are hydraulic, sound amazing. But for snare heads, I've gone through. Well, I've been playing for 20 years, and the Remo Coated Ambassador, you just can't beat it. Like, it's the best sound. So, but yeah, like among the like one of the reasons I play like Zildjian is because like all my favorite artists do, and then also I looked into it, like they're just shy of 500 years old. I was like, that's kind of cool. But like I've also played Sabians, I've played Istanbuls and other ones, but the only ones I've spent money on are Zildjian. So
I feel like drummers are the most brand loyal people. Like you're gonna get your kit that's a certain brand, your cymbals are gonna be a certain brand, your sticks are gonna be a certain brand.
I think that's probably true.
But there's also
hardware, I don't care. Like, so long as it does the job, I really don't care about like there's like, I mean, this is mostly yours that I'm borrowing right now, but like in my own kit, I've got DW, I've got Tama, I've got Yamaha. So they're hardware, right? Like, but
yeah.
I think partly because like, unless you're like a studio drummer, you've got one kit and you're gonna stick with it. And so like even a beginner kit, you know, an intermediate one, you know, that's a few, you know, $500, $600, $700, $800. But yeah, like if you graduate from that to a more professional kit, you know, that's when whether or not the brand loyalty actually changes. Like if I were to, ideally what I want to do is just build my own. But having kids, that's my time in the woodshed is few and far between. But like if I was to buy my own kit, like I've got a Gretsch right now, but I'd buy a CNC in a heartbeat. So, I mean, yes and no.
Yeah.
Well, also too, I think with drums, there are less modern major manufacturers than guitars.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's like in the last 10 years, the custom boutique kits.
Oh yeah, like that's exploded. But when you think of drum brands, I mean, there are only so many that really come to mind, like right off the bat.
Yeah.
Whereas if you say guitar brands, I mean, you've already got more than I think would come to mind with drums.
I mean,
in my opinion,
challenge accepted, but you're probably right.
Well, Tony and I have known each other for all of his life.
36 years.
Yep. We are cousins, in case anyone didn't know that. So we've known each other for forever. I'm a few months older than Tony. I'm the old guy in the band, and so we've been playing music now together for 22 years, something like that.
There are people who make more money making music that are less old than we've been.
Yeah, I know where you're going there. Yeah. So Tony and I have known each other forever. We started playing in bands together in our first band together, which had 4 names. And on the fourth iteration of the band, which had the same members, just 4 names, we recruited a bass player because we really were desperate. And so we came and we heard through the grapevine that this guy named Greg played bass. And so we go up to him apparently, and he remembers this better than I do, but apparently we asked him if he played bass, and he didn't really, but he said, sure. And so he was recruited, and that was, something like 18 years ago.
Well, what? It would have been, I think it was my junior year, so 02?
Yeah, something like that, because I think we recorded in 03, so you were already playing with us a while then, a few months. So, yeah.
Or maybe,
Who was
maybe
it?
03. It might have been 03, actually.
02, 03. It's right in there.
One of those.
Greg,
So
who was it
Greg-
that approached you?
I think it was Jason, and it was either Nathan or Nathaniel.
Yeah,
I think it was Nathan.
I think it was Nathan.
Because I remember you were both a lot taller than I was. With Nathaniel, I may not have felt so like, whoa. But yeah, I lied my way into the band. So.
And it worked out. He fit really well, and so then we've played off and on together now so I guess the three of us have played off and on together now for 16, 17 years,
yeah.
however long that's been. And we started getting together more regularly 3-4 years ago. And then a couple years ago, 2.5 years ago, something like that, we started looking for a bassist. And so somehow or other, I don't remember who mentioned Brian. Somebody did.
Well, I think it's Tony put out a message, like pretty much calling all bass players.
And I did not see that message.
I couldn't remember what happened there. I just know somehow we got in touch with Brian, and we roped him in somehow, and then he kind of just brought the rest of the sound together, and that really just worked. So that was 2.5 years ago, something like that now, and we've been rocking ever since.
Yeah, so basically, wow. Tony came up to me after church one day, and he knew I played bass because I played bass for the church worship band. He plays drums sometimes, so he's like, "Hey, you interested in playing music? You should come hang out with us and play." And so I was like pretty excited about that because it's been a while since I played rock and roll. Am I still there? It's my phone. Okay, there we go.
It went away for a moment, but you're good.
Okay. So it'd been a while since I played rock and roll, and so I went over. I remember we practiced over at Tony's house in the dining room, and the rest is history. So
I think we decided to take over Brian's house, and now we have taken over his entire basement. And
the floodplain.
Yep.
It really did just, I think, take that first practice though to just be like, I think this will work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it was pretty easy for me too.
You're not lying about actually playing guitar.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he actually plays bass. He's not a guitarist who pretends to play bass. He actually plays bass. So
Yep.
Just shows you how badly I wanted to rock back then. No, I don't play bass regularly, but I will.
I listened to your stuff though. That stuff was pretty good back then, I'll say.
It was fun for sure.
Yeah, it was.
Oh gosh.
So we can take that two ways. One, like dream, like anybody in the world, or like realistic, somebody in like the 4-state scene that it's actually possible for us to collaborate with. I mean, of course, for what it's worth, I would have never dreamed that Tom Doherty would have been somebody that we could collaborate with, and look what's happened.
True. Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and start. So I honestly would love to play with like most of the bands in Joplin and in the area. Like it's been really fun. We played with Eggs on Mars and Space Dingus and what?
Granger.
Yeah, Granger. Like those guys were all fun, and it's fun to see different people, get to know different people. So I hope that I get the chance to play with many different bands in Joplin. I would like to play a show with my friend Tim Cote sometime. Because that's I think that's my friend Lewis Grossman. That would be great too. So 2 great drummers, by the way. So
we should just make Tim come and play with us sometime.
There you go.
I used to play with him and Adam Francis back when Adam did music, and
Yeah.
that was fun.
yeah.
Yeah, Tim actually played bass, I believe, for us.
Doesn't Tim play
Right.
everything?
Yeah, well, he played bass on most songs, and then a couple songs he played banjo, and I played bass. So we
Nice.
were switching it up.
And now you're a banjo wizard. So
Well, I don't know if I'd say wizard, but I do play now.
you're on your way.
Yeah.
Well on your way. So
Yeah, I could probably list a ton, but I'm always willing to play with anybody. So I currently am also collaborating with Dr. G and the Tall Man, for anyone that doesn't know that. So check us out. That is Dr. G, as in the Joplin High School principal, who is a killer songwriter, and we just the 2 of us get together and play some music. But I'm kind of like Brian. I'm willing to collaborate with anybody and play with anybody. I've played with quite a few people over the years, sometimes kind of one-off here and there. So yeah, anyone that wants to jam, I'm willing to jump in and have some fun. But yeah, unrealistically, I mean, there's just so many people that I can name. But tons of influences. Be fun to jam with the truckers, but there's all kinds of cool people like that would be fun to jam with. So
yes. Very much so.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot more talent and groups around here than a lot of people realize, and just kind of breaking into that and seeing what else we can find. It's always good to just discover new people that are in the area that you never knew before, and yeah. Tony?
One that just popped up that's realistic. I mean, like Jason said, I could come up with 100 ones that are unrealistic, but and maybe I don't want to think too much of myself, but I remember back when we would play shows with Elevator Division. Those were good shows.
Yeah.
They were a good band, and we were lucky. But since they got back together, I mean, it's hypothetically possible that we get lucky again.
That's true.
yeah,
That's true. Well, and we know Chris.
Well,
So.
we went to high school with Chris.
Yeah, but I'm sure he'd be up for it if we were
talked to
to.
him a year ago.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So, Chris,
That's
if you
fine.
see this,
Shameless self-promotion.
Since I'm the old guy, I'll go first. The girls inspired me to play music, and then it really didn't work. Now it's interesting because the weird things of life are such that the group or band, whatever, that got me to say I really wanted to play guitar was this little band. I think they were from around the Tulsa area, called Prophecy, that I saw at a missionary convention when I was I must have been 14. And they had their album, the last song on it was all acoustic, and I just loved the riff on it, and I was like, I want to learn to do that. I'd been kind of intimidated to try to learn how to play before that, and that was the album that, whatever reason, was the one that kicked me off, and like nobody's ever heard of this album, but I still have it on CD, and that was the one that got me over the hump, and I finally started learning and picked it up. You know, it just fit. And then Jens Kruger is the reason I play banjo. He's a phenomenal banjo player. And I guess we are now unlimited. And yeah, that was those were just a couple of influences, but it's kind of weird how that happens, because it wasn't somebody huge or anything that was finally the push I needed to take the plunge.
I remember listening to that CD. It's I remember liking it a lot too in early high school, and it's crazy who you influence, because I'm pretty sure that they've probably broken up and they have no idea who we are. And
Yep.
That's funny. I don't think I'd ever heard that before, so that's news to me.
It's an obscure thing. I don't talk about it much because it was a long time ago. You know, like.
Well, mine's pretty obvious, of course. My dad, amazing guitarist, bassist. He could walk that neck all day long. Yeah, so that was my big influence.
Brian,
Yeah, I think for me, it was a multifaceted. So my first instrument was a trumpet. My dad played trumpet, so I would guess he would be the first person that encouraged me into music, because he talked about how he enjoyed playing, and so I started playing in like middle school band. And then I remember there was a few guys at my church. Jody Hendricks, he's the guy who taught me how to play bass. Looked up to him and a lot of the other guys on the worship band. They were just kind of like mentor type figures to me. And then also my buddy Jonathan, who was starting a band, and they needed a bass player. So if I was going to be in the band, I would have to play an instrument that they needed in the band, and bass was that instrument. So it was multifaceted for sure. So I started playing bass and quickly learned to enjoy it.
yeah, mine's kind of similar. I remember enjoying, as a kid, watching the drummers at church. I just liked how things moved, watching all the parts and the coordination that went with it. I enjoyed watching it. So the church drummers that I was growing up watching would be some of the early influences. And then one of the time about late junior high, I heard this record by Fleming and John, Delusions of Grandeur, and the very last song has a super simple 4 on the floor pattern groove that at the time I was naive enough to think, oh, I can do that. That song's awesome. When I tried it later, I couldn't do that, but that song specifically was one of the ones that was like, I want to do that.
Is that a place called Love?
Yeah. And the drum part really is pretty simple, but at the time I couldn't have done it.
Yeah.
That's how it is for all drummers starting out. It's like, I can do that.
Yeah.
I started out playing drums too, so.
So I would say I wanted to play bass like the guy who taught me how to play bass, Jody. And I would also say I was influenced a lot by like the 2007, 2008 post-hardcore bands like Under Oath and like all those people. Although I wouldn't necessarily say like the bass playing was like super like in the front for that. Like, but I was influenced. And honestly, I think one of the biggest influences was Plank Eye, specifically the Spill album. So I remember listening to some of the bass lines in their album Spill and really enjoying that, and learning to play those lines growing up was awesome.
Yeah. Let's see. A couple of names right off the bat. I mean, playing wise, songwriting wise, Patterson Hood, Truckers, Bill Maloney. Trying to think of what else I've been listening to a lot. Tom Petty. I could keep listing people off, so I'd say those are probably my top 3. But they're wanting 5.
You can say however many you want, man.
3 to 5.
I'll go with
Man.
those top.
I think you're good.
I'll
Man.
go with those top 3.
That's good.
I think that's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could list people all night probably, but the top ones for me with banjo would probably be would definitely be Jens Kruger and Bella Fleck. I can't play like either of them, but that's my aspirations. And then of course I do 3-fingered, so gotta give Earl Scruggs a shout out there. But for guitar, starting out, I was pretty limited in what I listened to at the time. So listening to only Christian music really hampers your ability to have good guitarists, since there's only like 3 of them in the industry. And most of the actual good ones are probably studio musicians that no one's ever heard of. So Don Chaffer was a huge influence right off the bat. Kind of got me started in the blues, rock, funk, sort of lots of pentatonic scales style of playing. I wanted to play like Phil Keaggy, but couldn't. And then over the years that, progressed to all kinds of different people, lots of Stevie Ray, then, guy like even Joe Satriani, I've stolen a lot of just hand stuff from him. Then trying to do 2-note type runs and things, got a lot of that from Mark Knopfler and guys like that. So there's just a ton then who, you go back to blues wise, there's guys like Buddy Guy and all the greats there who, really influence the way I play now. And now I just, anything that catches my ear, I will try to figure out what the trick is. Sometimes with better results than others, but yeah, those are all, like I said, I could go all night, but that's a bunch of them.
Tony?
Well, starting out, the most influential drummer to me, it was, and still is, Brendan Graves, Waterdeep's drummer. And, it holds up, especially those first 2 albums. He could play the song. Like if it was a, rockin' song, he would pull out the chops. But if it was, a more melodic or a simple song, like he would play it. And he's never overplayed. Now, I think it's also required of every drummer since 1969 to say John Bonham. So,
yeah.
I'm going to say that. More recently, whoever was playing with Dave Bazan, sometimes it was him playing drums himself. So that style of drumming, especially on Control.
Trey, isn't it? Trey Manning?
Yeah, T.W. Walsh played with him a lot. So, and Trey Manning played with him a lot. Also, Ricky Mazzotta from Me Without You blew my mind. But then, like, coming back down to earth, like, kind of playing the music that we play, Steve Ferroni, he's the guy who plays with Tom Petty. Very much, he plays the song. He's a groove drummer. The name of the drummer for Drive By Trucker, the Truckers drummer, his name is Brad Morgan. And again, like he's got a groove and it works with the song. He doesn't overplay, and there's always the temptation to like have all the chops and everything and show off and be flashy. But I learned pretty eventually that like, yeah, that's not me. I don't have that. But if I can play like those guys where they just play the song and let you guys do your job, I think I'll be doing okay.
There's nothing wrong with keeping things simple.
Yeah, that's my theory anyway.
That's honestly how I try to write. That's how I try to write my songs anymore. I don't try to go for super complicated stuff. Just simple.
Yeah, and that's what makes your songs good.
Well, hopefully.
Okay. Me Without You. I've been listening to a lot of them today. Pedro the Lion. Kind of a new to me band, to be honest. You're
welcome.
Yeah, thank you guys. And Houndmouth. So,
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here lately, the Hold Steady. I just the last year or two, I just have really enjoyed their entire catalog, and by because of that, Craig Finn, who's their songwriter, lead guy, he also has some great solo stuff. What else have I been listening to lately? Gosh, you can never go wrong with Truckers. I listened to them, I think, just this last week.
Yeah.
So those are some that here lately.
Yeah. Tony?
Yesterday, I listened to Orange Rhyming Dictionary by Best of Brazil. Every time. That's such a great record. Also recently listened to Laughing Stock by Woven Hand. Everything Woven Hand is great, but that one's a newer one to me anyway, and I like it a lot. And let's see here. What else have I listened to recently? More on the sentimental side, I listened to Trumpet Child by Over the Rhine. That's my favorite record by them. It's not as depressing as some of theirs can get. It's there's some like very deep lyrics, but it's also the record that like my wife and I danced to whenever we got married at our wedding.
That's cool.
So
nice. Last week I've been listening to a lot of, really, it's the same songwriter, but Sunny Day, Jeremy Enoch, Fire Theft.
Oh man.
I think I went through Sunny Day's like whole catalog at work this week.
Nice.
Jeremy Enoch's been doing some stay-home sessions.
Has he?
He played an acoustic version of Red Elephant just the other day, and I was like, this is my favorite song by you.
Dude, the LP2 is awesome. Let's see. Kind of a sentimental note, but I still really like some Jimmy Eat World stuff. So I was going through some of their, maybe like the last few albums of theirs.
Which record? Oh, multiple.
Well, Futures for one, because that's my favorite by them. Damage, which was a really good album.
Yeah, I just listened to that the other day.
Yeah, Damage is solid. And then even kind of being nostalgic again, but it's a new record they put out last year, Get Up Kids.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah, it's solid album. It's good.
You guys listen to the new Pearl Jam?
I've not.
No, I
It's
haven't.
good.
Gigaton, right?
Yes, I think so. That sounds right.
I'll have to find that.
It's good.
First for me, it'll be Stonewall.
Hmm.
Gosh, that's hard. It might be Strawman because by the time we get to that one, we're just like all out. Craig's screaming, I'm
Balls
jumping
to the wall.
around. We're just like losing our minds at that point. So that one's
Yeah, that's
pretty fun.
I think a particular favorite of mine is probably Requiem for the Dream.
That's fun. My favorite is All That Remains. It's a right out the gate, nice, fast tempo, fun. We lost Brian.
Brian!
He's lost in the internet.
Hope those tubes aren't too clogged.
Need some digital Drano. I mean, honestly, our setup's simple. I mean, we've got a standard, computer-based DAW. So we're recording everything digitally, but we're doing it live and keeping things unedited as far as time. Because why mess with the human element? And, we may end up doing like 3 to 4 takes of a song. We may end up doing 9 or 10, maybe not all in a row, but I don't know. I just think it feels better just to play it as it is. But that's pretty much it.
Okay.
The only thing that's not live is vocals. Other than that, everything's go.
Well, I mean, we're not 20 anymore. Most of us have kids or about to.
Half of us, well, I guess 3/4 of us have.
Yeah. I'm the lone standout there, holdout there. So yeah, like the just work, family, all that stuff. That can be a challenge when you're trying to coordinate schedules and stuff. We've all got adult jobs. We've all, we're all supporting our families and whatnot in any way we can, and so
we've all got more.
It's not our job, so we have to do it for fun, and while I think that is good in a lot of ways, that we're not playing because that's the only way we have to feed our family. It also does interfere with the music sometimes.
It does. Luckily, I think we just take it in stride.
Yeah. Yeah, Brian.
Is he back?
There he is.
Missed you.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I was able to convince Brian to join the band whenever I was describing what our
kind of our work ethic.
Yeah, I was like, we all have full-time jobs. We all are married. Greg and I both have kids. We're probably never going to tour.
100%.
So I mean, like, it's a strength and a weakness.
We are the band that has, and we all have like jobs, and so I was like, yeah, because I work full time, I have a job, so yeah, it's for the love of music, is what it's for.
Mm-hmm.
Because it didn't get us any girls, we didn't get any money out of it. We must actually like it.
Yeah.
I think to play music together and have fun. I mean, that's,
I think pretty much just answered that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would also add in express ourselves through music.
Yeah.
So I think
That's true.
musical expression is really powerful all the ways. And also, if other people can get something from our songs, that's a huge bonus. So.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think the one thing that I mentioned, and if for like at this point, it seems like an aspiration that I don't know if it'll ever even happen, but like if it can be self-sustaining to where there's enough fans out there that will make it so we're not paying to record, we'll see if that ever happens.
Yeah.
Be nice.
But as it is, I mean, like, yeah, we are going to be paying to record because, or at least to get it produced and out to the masses.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent question.
I am boring. I'm a good old. I just like Snickers.
Oh, I thought you were going to say granola bar for a second.
No, candy bar, candy.
Snickers are fantastic. That's not boring to me.
Can you even classify a granola bar as a candy bar?
I
had a roommate in college who did.
No, I mean some of them are coated, and then they're a little more candy bar-like, but
Yeah, but even still, they're
no. It
No.
still sort of tastes healthy, so no, it's not a candy bar.
Let us know in the comments if you think granola bar is a candy bar.
Twix.
Good choice. All right, Tony.
Snickers.
Wow. You know, I also have to throw in honorable mention to Three Musketeers. That Nugent is so good. So,
Balls.
Did you say Nugent? Ted Nugent?
yeah. Nugent. I don't know how do you say that word.
That Nugent is so good.
You all know what I'm talking about. The mallow.
Yep. Stuff in the middle. There's very few things made with chocolate that I won't eat.
I already know Brian's answer.
Yeah, 100% Dumb and Dumber. I would watch that movie hundreds of times.
Ugh.
Definitely Dumb and Dumber. Comedy gold.
Hmm.
Hmm.
That's the question. I'm gonna have to think about it.
Yeah, you jerk. We do top 3 or 4, I think, because gosh.
3 or 4.
Well, like, I mean,
Top 3.
you can't beat your Monty Python ones. So, your Life of Brian or your, Holy Grail. But then there's stuff like Office Space or The Big Lebowski, which are just both fantastic movies.
Yes.
So those would be my top. That's my top tier.
Okay. Yeah. Monty Python for sure. I mean, Holy Grail, one of the best of all time, and Blazing Saddles.
Oh man. When the name makes you laugh, just because you know.
For those PC patrollers out there, don't watch it.
I'd have to say Holy Grail, but as an all-time one. But then, just as a more recent, I don't know if that necessarily makes it at the top. But one of the ones that I've really enjoyed recently was Jim Gaffigan's. I think it was Cinco.
Yeah. Anything Jim Gaffigan is hilarious, though.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I was watching him interview his children.
I like it. It's honestly between Lucky Charms, Honey Nut Cheerios, and Frosted Flakes for me.
Oh.
So.
I like Honey Bunches of Oats.
Yeah.
Straight up.
I was not a Honey Bunches of Oat guy, but I think my wife is.
My grandpa got me hooked on that back in the day, and
Brian just went straight for the sugar with all of it. He's like, frosted flakes.
I mean,
It's
I will
so good.
also go
Actually,
for the
Frosted
Cinnamon Toast
Flakes, you
Crunch.
can put more sugar on top of them. It's really good.
You're like Calvin with.
I like to put honey on my cornflakes.
Ooh. I might have to try that.
It's good. All right, Tony.
Cocoa frosted sugar bombs.
What?
That's from Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah.
All right. I was
Um,
so it's not a real cereal because I really want to try that.
No, but like for real, I think one of my favorite breakfast cereals. I don't really eat a lot of breakfast cereal, but whenever I do, a real treat is Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's probably my second. I love that stuff.
Maple only.
Real maple.
from a real maple tree.
Hey, though, tonight, Les made pulled pork pancakes. Thank you, Brunchinette. And she bought some maple syrup that was aged in bourbon barrels.
Ooh.
Okay. Now I can get on board with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That it's still maple syrup.
Exactly.
So
That little extra.
So growing up, on Saturday mornings, my dad would make pancakes, and it was a special Saturday morning if the syrup you got to eat with or put on your pancakes was blueberry syrup. So my favorite is blueberry syrup. I love it so much, but like when I was a kid, I'd have to take my shirt off to eat it because it would like stain my shirt. So yeah, I guess my answer would be blueberry syrup with my shirt off. So
if we ever
Dad.
see you,
Dad.
with a blue stained shirt, we'll know.
You know.
The
You know
blueberry
what happened.
syrup bread.
Oh man.
That's
I'm
awesome.
getting hungry just thinking about it. Besides Applebee's? I'm just kidding.
Come on. I mean, I already mentioned it, but Brunchinette would be mine.
Brunchinette is really good. Carthage, our favorite restaurant is probably Habaneros. In Joplin, ooh, Carmine's Pizza is really good.
Oh my gosh.
And
Yeah.
there's a new, and we haven't been back since we've been quarantined, but there's a new Indian place between Carthage and Joplin, which is really good. It's called what is it called, Tony? Rasoy, I think.
I don't remember. I work right next to there, so I don't.
Yeah, something like that. It's really good.
So I cannot pick one single restaurant.
Neither can I.
Well, I will say Pho Saigon. I will say Hackett's. I will say Eagle Drive-In. And I will be sad that I have to say Kinnery. And
High Time.
yeah, Thai Time.
Magic Noodles, another good one.
Yeah. There's so many good ones.
Yeah.
But
If
I
you go to a
would
chain
everybody in
restaurant in
Joplin's
Joplin, you need to
away.
be slapped.
What?
I just said if you go to a chain restaurant in Joplin, you need to be slapped because there's so many good local restaurants.
That's like going to a Red Lobster when you're on the coast.
Yeah.
So be aware, if you go to a chain restaurant, Jason will slap you. So
I mean, there's a
be on the
couple that are really
lookout.
good. Like, what's the breakfast one on 32nd? Right off 32nd, where
First watch.
First Watch. That's a really good chain.
Yeah.
But most of them, like, go to one of the local places. They're just better.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear one day, would you like to start off with any appetizers? Like, that'll be nice to hear again someday.
It will be.
Like,
It will be.
and my answer will be like, yes, I would like to start off with an appetizer.
Give me all the appetizers.
Saving up all of our eating out budget for a really good one when we can finally go to a restaurant again.
Yeah.
What about best Mexican in Joplin?
So
I would like to
have
hear what
say,
Tony has to say.
I have to say festival because I've been going there since college, and it actually happened where one of the waitresses, she came up to me and asked, "Would you like your regular?" And I said yes, and she gave me the right thing.
Nice.
It happened.
We used to eat there twice a week when we lived just down the road from there. That's probably still our favorite in Joplin.
I mean, I like other ones in town too. Like I like habaneros. I like a couple of the other ones, but yeah, that one, like, I'm like, when they know you that well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, habaneros or Lalo's for.
Lalo's is good.
So good.
Your go-to street tacos. Yum.
Ghetto Taco makes good street tacos.
Ghetto Taco is really good, yeah.
Yep.
I miss El Rey.
Oh man.
Oh.
Those pastor tacos they made. Oh my god.
No one else I have never had pastor tacos even touch how good theirs were anywhere else.
You gotta pour one out for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Pizza by Stout. Anybody who knows.
Dude, don't bring that up.
Yeah.
Come on. There's a spot in my soul missing. There's a deep hole.
This is Brian, Tony, Greg, and Jason with Blister Soul saying sayonara. See you guys. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Is sayonara correct? Syrup. Does that really mean something? Or is that a made-up word?
I think
like,
sayonara is...
It means like good night, right?
Goodbye, sayonara. Good night, something in some language. I'm terrible.
This will be cut.
Good.
Well, you only have to pick one of those goodbyes. Goodbye. Good night. Have a good evening. Thanks for listening.
Good night and good luck.
Wow. He or her sure got themselves in a predicament.
Oh, man.
Or maybe we should just end it like Tony and I always do. Happy trails.
Ever stolen?
Happy trails. Are we saying goodbye for real now?
No, we're just gonna see how long we can keep this going.
We'll just stay on this all night.
Yeah.
Well, our wives,
in the Midwest, a goodbye is at least 30 minutes long. So
that's true. That is true.
This is the equivalent to standing on your front porch and saying goodbye for 30 minutes.
No, you hang up first.
That was
you're the meeting host, so if you hang up, you'll hang up all of us.
That was one of my favorite things about going over to friends' houses. Like when I was little, my parents would come to pick me up, but it's like, I've still got an hour.
Yeah. Yep.
At least.
100%.
Yep.
So.
All right.
Good to talk to you again, guys.
Yeah, it's good seeing you guys.
All right.